How's it going, YouTube? My name is James, and I'm at James_films on Instagram. Check out my stuff. If you like what you see, throw it a follow, pass it a like, drop a comment, and I'll try to get back to you and respond to whatever you say. Today I want to talk about 4 tips that I have to immediately improve your photography. The camera that you have does not matter for this video, and that is intentional. I want this video to be able to apply to anyone with any skill level, from a person who's literally picking up a camera and turning it on for the very first time to someone who has had a picture on the cover of National Geographic. Tip number 1, pick up your camera and turn it off and put it away. What? This may seem counterintuitive, but I found that the best pictures that I've taken have been ones where I actually slow the process down, take a minute to just observe the world around me, take in the sights and sounds, watch people going by, look at the light as it filters through the scene. I think it's very, very easy to get lost in the tiny little viewfinder in your camera and just be snapping away taking pictures and completely losing sight of maybe another great photographic opportunity. And an example of this is actually a photo I took recently where there's this beautiful rainbow that was stretching across the sky, and I was taking tons and tons of pictures facing this rainbow. But at the same time, there's another scene behind me that I almost completely missed if I hadn't actually observed the full scene before taking pictures. Tip number 2, look for frames in the wild. And I don't mean looking for literal picture frames sitting around. I mean, look for ways that the world around you has essentially already done your job for you and found the perfect composition. This is looking at archways or windows, or if you're out in nature, ways that the trees or mountains have sort of shaped the scene into a ready-made picture frame. Natural compositions often do the photographer's job for them. They have these leading lines that create an immersive experience for the viewer when they're looking at the picture, and they sort of guide your eye through the frame. So I often, when I'm taking pictures, look for these photographic opportunities where I can essentially just take my camera out and take a picture of what nature or the built world is already set up for me. Tip number 3. So to make it easier for future you to edit pictures, try your best to nail exposure in camera. And one of the best ways to do that with almost every single camera, you can actually see what's called a histogram. And this essentially shows where the image is exposed in your camera. The leftmost side of the histogram corresponds to the darkest parts of the image, and the rightmost side of the histogram corresponds to the brightest pixels in your image. You want a nice, evenly exposed histogram. Something that's not pushing too far up against the highlights and something that's not getting crushed too far on the dark side of your image. You're essentially doing a balancing act between your camera's aperture, your camera's shutter speed, and your camera's ISO. There are plenty of videos on YouTube that go into more technical detail about exactly how to adjust those different settings to get your image properly exposed. Because as much as I'd like to say that you can fix it in post, that really isn't always the case. And if you have a really underexposed or overexposed image, you're losing a lot of the information that you would be able to have with a picture, and it's really tough to try to bring that back in post-processing. Tip number 4, do your homework. So what I mean by that is before you actually go out and take pictures, I think it's a good idea to know what you're up against. When sunrise and sunset is for your given location, what the weather is going to be like, where the sun actually is going to set as well. It's really easy now with things like Google Maps to actually look up a location and actually put yourself in that location using the street view and kind of move around and essentially do location scouting from your home before you even go out and take pictures. Sometimes I'll actually go on Instagram too and look up different locations or location tags and kind of see what other photographers are doing in that area, what compositions they're looking for. This gives me a pretty good starting point before I go out and take pictures. I wanted to make this video for you, regardless of your skill level, to really improve your photography and start taking some really amazing pictures. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like. I'm planning on actually making a post-processing video that'll follow along with this video and talk about how to take those fantastic images that you just took and actually edit them and really make them something magical. So thanks so much again, and be sure to check out my Instagram at James_films. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and see you next time.